Hello and welcome to this channel. I hope you enjoy this story. I'm going to try and upload each day. Echoes of the Abyss. The wind howled like a tormented soul as Arthur stood at the edge of the desolate island, gazing out at the turbulent sea. He was the last of a dying breed, a lighthouse keeper tasked with maintaining the ancient, towering sentinel known as the Black Watch Lighthouse. It was a lonely existence, one that had grown even lonelier over the years. Arthur's only companions were the haunting cries of the seabirds and the relentless crashing of the waves against the jagged rocks below. The island was uninhabited, save for the dilapidated lighthouse and a small, crumbling cottage where he took shelter from the storms that ravaged the coast. It was a place forgotten by time, where the past lingered like a ghostly presence. One stormy night, as Arthur was tending to the lighthouse's beacon, he noticed something unusual on the radar. Lips appeared as signal, weak and intermittent, but unmistakably a distress call. He checked the date, hoping it was a ship in trouble that he could assist. To his disbelief, the message was dated a century ago. The distress signal came from a ship called the Eternal Hope, a vessel lost to the abyss of history, presumed vanished without a trace. Arthur frantically adjusted the equipment, certain it was some malfunction or interference. But the signal persisted, growing clearer and more desperate with each passing moment. As Arthur listened, he heard the voice of a man, filled with fear and despair, pleading for help. The words were fragmented, like whispers from the other side. Lost, storm, darkness, help us. The message was accompanied by the sound of creaking timbers and rushing water. It was impossible, yet there it was, the voice of a ship that had disappeared into the depths of the ocean 100 years ago. Arthur's heart pounded as he strained to make sense of the message. He couldn't ignore it. The plea for help echoed through his very soul. Desperation and curiosity drove him to research the Eternal Hope. He uncovered old newspapers and dusty records, all confirming the ship's fate. A tragic storm had claimed it and its crew, leaving no survivors and no wreckage. But Arthur knew better now. He was receiving a message from the abyss, a cry for salvation from beyond the veil of time. Night after night, Arthur listened to the transmission. It haunted his dreams and consumed his waking thoughts. He felt a connection to those long-lost souls, a responsibility to answer their plea. But how could he help a ship lost to history, a ship that had vanished a century ago? With each passing day, the lighthouse keeper grew weaker, his once vibrant spirit drained by the relentless distress call. He couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, as the echoes of the abyss consumed him. He became obsessed, driven by an insatiable need to understand the mystery and find a way to save those lost souls. One fateful night, as a storm raged outside, Arthur stood atop the lighthouse, his eyes fixed on the tempestuous sea. The distress signal reached its crescendo, the voice of the lost mariners more agonized than ever. With tears in his eyes, Arthur made a decision to do the impossible. He descended into the labyrinthine bowels of the lighthouse, where a forgotten storeroom held an ancient, dusty book filled with incantations and rituals. Desperation led him to perform a forbidden ritual, one that bridged the gap between the living and the dead. As he chanted the incantation, the room filled with an eerie, cold mist, and the walls seemed to breathe with unseen life. The distress signal grew louder, more urgent, until it felt as though the very fabric of time was unraveling. The room trembled, and Arthur knew he had succeeded. Suddenly, before him, a ghostly apparition materialized, an ethereal crew from the Eternal Hope, their faces etched with suffering. Their voices, once fragmented and distant, were now clear and tormented. They thanked Arthur for answering their call, but their plight was not over. The lost mariners were trapped in a liminal space, neither alive nor dead, and their souls could find no peace. Arthur vowed to help them, to guide their spirits to the other side. Together, they embarked on a harrowing journey through the abyss of time and space. As they neared the end of their journey, the crew's anguished faces began to fade, replaced by expressions of gratitude and serenity. One by one, they disappeared into the unknown, their voices finally finding silence. Arthur stood alone at the edge of the abyss, the storm outside having subsided. The lighthouse keeper had fulfilled his duty, and the echoes of the abyss had finally found their rest. With a heavy heart, he returned to his lonely existence, forever haunted by the memories of those lost souls and the mysterious distress call from a century ago, a call he had answered across the boundaries of time itself. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.